everyone. This is Frankie Lou.
And Angus.
Yes, and we're coming to you today to give you some techniques on how you can grow very inexpensively greens in your kitchen without grow lights or lots of special equipment. You probably have everything that we're going to use here in your kitchen right now. And it's a really great way to get some fresh greens growing in your house when you can't be growing outside. So it's about, I think we're expecting a high of 2 degrees here today. And it was below -5 last night. So yes, we still aren't growing any greens outside. But we do this a lot in the winter when we can't have fresh greens from the garden.
Too cold to plant outside.
Too cold, yeah. So one of the things that we like to do is we like to grow sprouts. Now, when we talk about sprouts, I don't want you thinking about those anemic things that you either get in bags in the Asian section or in those little containers. There's a lot of fear around using commercially produced sprouts because they can be good carriers of E. coli and lots of other fun food poisoning. One of the reasons for that is because they're mass produced in such large buildings. It goes through lots and lots of hands. But when you do it here in your own home, you can control that, and it's really a lot easier than you think. You want to be on that side? And it's also, it tastes better, doesn't it, Angus?
Yeah.
Do you like to eat sprouts from the store very much? No. But when we grow our own, he will eat them sometimes.
Yep.
So one of the number one sprouts that we like to grow are mung bean sprouts. Yeah. Okay. So this is what they look like before you start sprouting them. And this is what they look like after about 5 days. Now, that's about the same amount. As you can see, they grow quite a bit. And Angus, what does it taste like?
Well, it tastes like a pea.
Like a pea, right? Like if you like to grow peas because you really like eating those raw peas that you get out of the garden and you never get enough shelling peas to actually, see this? He's eating greens. Yeah. You never get enough shelling peas growing in your garden. These really taste a lot like it when you do it this way. Okay. And I'll show you, like you don't need any special tools. You need a jar. Okay. I like my good wide mouth mason jars. I wash it in the dishwasher. I make sure it's nice and clean. I then would pour my mung beans, and that's about as much as I'd like to do, in my, and then we soak it with filtered water.
Yep.
Okay, and I'll show you. Let's get some water there. Now, when we start the soaking process, I've seen people who do it overnight, but I've actually accidentally over-soaked seeds and killed them because they can't be waterlogged for too long. And through years of playing with it, I've honestly found that almost any seed is good with 2 hours. I know there's all soak overnight, soak 8 hours. I've found that when you're rinsing enough, you don't need to do that. Now this is
2 hours later.
2 hours later, exactly. Let's fast forward. Whoops, there's some water in there still. 2 hours later, you don't need a screen top. You probably have a colander at home, right?
Yep, a fine colander will do.
Okay, and then you go like this. Okay, I spilled a little. Yeah, who cares? All right, it's water. So you're going to let that drain. All right.
For a long time.
This is actually the most important part of seed sprouting is allowing appropriate drainage. Okay, because you do not want, once you do that original soaking, you do not want those beans sitting in water. That's where the bacteria and all the nasty stuff
E. coli.
can come in. So what you want to do is you want to let this drain. I usually let it drain 5 to 10 minutes. Pop it back off like that. Okay, and then I sort of shake it. I like to leave these sitting on the side. Okay, I think I get better airflow that way. Because if you do like this, you're just going to get the coming in the top, and it's only you can get the top of your seeds. I found I get a better crop if I sit it on its side in a fairly, you don't want it sitting in a really highlight part of your kitchen until you get
indirect sunlight.
Even almost shade you want to do. Some people pop them in their cupboards, but I do like to get good airflow. So I'm going to just pop this underneath the windowsill where there's a little sill and I don't get any light. Then in a few days, when I start to get some nice sprouts, I actually like to expose it to the light because I like to have the green leaves. I think it's probably better for you. And I also find that most sprouts taste a little bit better once they had a little bit of greening up gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if not, you'll get those spindly things that we talked about in the potato video.
Yeah, you get like spindly. I just find that you get a lot better tasting sprout if you let it be in the dark for a couple of days. You want to rinse and drain. I do it as often as I can remember. But honestly, if you do it 2 to 3 times a day, you're going to be good. But I basically live in the kitchen, so I'm doing it all the time. Okay, so that's one kind of sprout. Another sprouts. Now you can go and buy
broccoli seeds.
Yeah, broccoli is actually pretty good, but you can go and buy, this is a really great brand, West Coast Seeds. They have a really awesome, huge variety of growing sprouts, and that's great. I do that for things like broccoli seeds, okay? But you probably have tons of seeds in your house right now that you don't think of as seeds. If you're buying organic, why not try sprouting them? It hasn't been sprayed with anything. It's grown organically, and it costs about 1/10 of buying sprouting seeds. So I go and I buy sprouting seeds for my really cool ones that I can't get elsewhere, like broccoli, but black mustard seeds, that's a spice, and it sprouts fantastically. Okay, my radish seeds I buy from West Coast Seeds, but my green lentil seeds I buy in the organic food aisle section. Okay, another spice that's really fun to sprout is methi, or I know I'm saying this wrong, fenugreek. It sprouts really easily, and even like you can see, it's these little yellow seeds. It smells like curry, and it's delicious. It tastes like curry. But I do suggest with these ones, unless you want to smell like curry a lot, you probably want to let them green up quite a bit. When they first sprout, it's like so curry flavors. So you might want to wait to do that. Now with finer seeds, I've made a little blend up here, which has got radish and broccoli and clover and all sorts of fun stuff, and black mustard. I like to use, and here it is sprouted here. Okay, this represents about 5 days of growth. I like these lids, okay? This is another thing you can get from West Coast Seeds, and other garden stores supply them. I am here in Calgary, you can buy it at Garden Retreat. And they're great because using this method with these fine little seeds isn't going to work as well. So we do rinsing of this and using this. Now, Angus, why not just eat the seeds?
Well, they're easier for your tummy to digest because the shell isn't that hard. There's more, it has more vitamins and minerals in it, and more protein. Protein
and fiber, okay? They've shown that even if you don't like the way they taste, I do, so that's the reason I do it. But the soluble fiber and the insoluble fiber increases like a lot when you sprout out the seeds. So that's another reason to do it. And what are we doing when we're sprouting seeds? And I guess, what are the parts of the seeds?
Well, it's practically like, so the 3 parts of the seeds are the protein, the embryo, and the shell. So when you're sprouting the seeds, it causes the embryo to grow and then makes a baby plant.
Yeah, and it makes that food that's stored inside the seed available, okay? Another seed you might not think of sprouting is sunflower seeds. So we grow tons of sunflower seeds in our garden because bees love it, birds love it, and we actually, these ones aren't doing so well because they're last year's seed heads, so they're not sprouting as nicely. But you can cut off those seed heads when they're done growing, when you get your big, beautiful sunflowers and the bees have finished using them. keep the seed heads and dry them out and then sprout them. Okay, I use the same technique for that. I've got the lid on this right now, but I basically use the same technique with the colander for draining this. Once again, super important, rinsing and draining 2 to 3 times a day. That's with the majority of types of seeds that you want to grow. But there are other kinds of seeds, which, and a good example of that are chia seeds. Now, chia is a superfood, apparently. And so a lot of people have these seeds at home to put in their smoothies and stuff. And those of us who grew up in the 80s remember chia pets, okay? 70s and 80s
What
chia
are
pets.
those?
Oh, it's this thing that you did with terracotta pots. So you can grow your own chia sprouts with terracotta. What I do is I get a terracotta pot tray. I use a pie plate that has got full of water. I soak this in water. Okay.
And make
then
sure the water is touching.
make sure the water is touching the bottom of this. And then I put a pie plate lid on that until they start to sprout. I spray it with a fine mister.
Yep. And we haven't put pesticides in this.
No,
This is
yeah.
just normal water.
Actually, use filtered water is a good idea with all your seed sprouting. And then what you're going to do is once these have started to really come up, so now I'm going to put them out in the sunlight so that they're going to go green on me. And they're kind of cool and weird in that they form a carpet. Like this comes off almost in one piece. If you were to try to grow that in the jar method we just described, you're going to end up with a gelatinous, slimy mess. This is kind of the only way to grow this. And apparently you can do the same thing with flaxseed, which we haven't tried yet.
But we want to try.
Yeah. And
I heard you can also do this with clover.
well, clover you can grow in the jar method. Okay. So even if you're not going to eat them, it is a fun experiment to do with your kids.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it is kind of cool to watch this carpet grow, right? Now, let's...
And then it makes a great hat if you don't eat them.
Okay. Now, I have got a little cheat here. For those of you who are like, I don't want to grow sprouts, whatever. I don't want to go through all that trouble. There's another method which I've developed myself because I'm super cheap. And I like lettuce. And when you buy lettuce in the store, normally it comes in a whole head. And you eat a whole head of lettuce.
But we buy these things that have root balls on the bottom and the lettuce is still living.
Yeah, it's called living lettuce. You've probably seen it in your superstore or whatever. We buy them. We suspend them in water, filtered water, with 2 bamboo sticks. Okay, so that
Bamboo skewers.
yeah, above a glass of water, so that the top of the lettuce isn't touching the water, but the roots are hanging down in there. We change this water every day. Okay, I just take this glass of water and I water one of my plants with it every day, put fresh water in. And then what we do is we take a few outer leaves. It's called cut and come again method. And a lot of you who are already gardening outside have done this in your homes, but now you can do it on your kitchen counter. And honestly, what you can do is like we have 4 of these going, and this lettuce will last a long time. I buy 4 heads of lettuce, and I probably buy lettuce. We eat salad a lot. And what I just do is move along the lettuce. Like this one I've had a pretty good go at. We've had 2 salads off of this already. And now I'll let it grow for several days and I'll work on this one. Okay. And if you keep going like that, then you get this nice fresh lettuce off your kitchen counter. Don't put it in a really sunny place. Lettuce doesn't need a ton of sunlight. Eventually, this is going to start looking ratty and not grow any more leaves. Take the outer leaves. Don't take more than 1/3 of the plant at a time, and it'll just keep growing. In the garden, it's going to bolt because it's going to get lots of sunlight. It's not likely to do that here. Eventually, when they stop being less productive, we give it to the chickens, and they're as happy as can be. But in the meantime, I've probably got about 7 feeds of lettuce off of one lettuce head. All right?
Yep. Wait, do these living lettuces, the hydroponic living lettuces, bolt?
No, I have not had one bolt in our kitchen because we don't have intense sunlight in our kitchen. Out in the garden, a cut and come again lettuce will bolt, but these ones haven't. So I hope you guys will give this a try. Don't refrigerate these before you grow them.
No,
That's
definitely
not
not.
good.
No, 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 no.
Okay. But and I hope that was helpful. I hope you try it.
And if you have any questions, leave a comment
below.
in the comment section below.
If you do nothing else, try the mung beans. They're delicious.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're delicious.
You can cook them too. So have a great day, guys.
Bye.
Oh, still.